you're new here, my name is Dani Christine. I am a childcare business consultant to providers across the United States. I am also a digital creator on childcaresites.com and owner of now 4 childcare center locations in New York State, which I operate remotely typically on a daily basis from this here home office. My team and I have been working on the startup process of this 4th location for about a year and a half now. We actually contracted with a state university to bring our childcare company and our operations to their college campus. Our other 3 locations are actually in standalone buildings, and we got those up and running and licensed within a few weeks. So this year and a half contracting process, working with someone else has been a challenge. It's been a great challenge, and we are really looking forward to what the future will hold at this new location. I talked about how I learned about this contract opportunity in a podcast episode back in 2022. It's actually a really interesting story, to say the least, and it involves a scammer. So if you're interested in how we even found out about it, I'll leave that video link in the description below so you can watch or listen to that podcast episode. But in this video, I wanted to highlight and celebrate our team's accomplishment of planning and executing a successful open house event at this new location. Now, I've spoken about the importance of well thought out processes and procedures surrounding event planning in a previous video. I explained that hosting or participating in events is a great way to increase your enrollment and build reputation for your childcare business. There are many different types of events that you could host, but an open house is a very simple, traditional, and effective one to get the job done. So let's go ahead and get into it. We had the date of this open house finalized by the advisory board of the university about 2 months prior to the actual date of the event. As soon as the date was finalized, I passed the message to our leadership team of administrators across all locations at our weekly level 10 meeting, and the planning began from there. What I love most about how we have built up our childcare company is the commitment to teamwork that it feels like all of us have. Every week, each of our center directors, our marketing manager, our transportation manager, our parent coordinator, our bookkeeper, my dad, and myself, who is my business partner, we get together and have a meeting. We discuss the happenings of our company across all center locations. We make plans together and we make decisions together. I love that no matter what location or what position our team members are in, our leaders are just leaders. They are ready and willing to help out whenever and wherever needed, and that's exactly what was the case here in the open house planning of this new 4th location. So we all pitched in along with some of our teachers, and we made this open house a success. One of the very first things that I did was create the RSVP page on our company website. And because I've built up our website myself over the years using Wix, this was very easy and very quick to do. I like to call our website a powerhouse because it truly does put power behind most of our operations. Our contact list of about 4,000 people within the community is hosted on the back end of our website. I blast newsletters to them that often lead to immediate responses or actions taken or new enrollments. I built out our CRM system within Wix so that it has custom automations that send text messages, emails, and notifications to both new inquiries, our current families, and our staff or potential staff that allow me to kind of just set it and forget it. If you're interested in learning more about this and what sort of back-end systems you can build out on your website to make your business operations easier, I'd love for you to join my free webinar next week, Thursday, May 16th at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. The link and more information will be in the description below so that you can sign up for free. If you sign up, you can get access to join live, or you can get access to the replay right after the live stream is done. So be sure to head on over to the link in the description so that you can learn what makes a powerful childcare business website. But let's get back on track. So, since the university wanted to do somewhat of a soft opening, we knew that they only wanted to present this internally. So, we did not do any paid advertising or local advertising. We did not send newsletter blasts to our thousands of contacts who are not affiliated with the university. They were going to take care of notifying their people, which means students, faculty, and staff on campus, that this event was happening. So that was the target audience of this event, the students, faculty, and staff of the university. Now, unfortunately, we are not privy to the tens of thousands of contacts that the university has. But the advisory board did agree to send out that information on our behalf. So we needed to create an RSVP page that was going to be exciting enough for anyone that landed on it to be interested to put their information in and RSVP to actually attend the event. So that's what we did. The event page immediately let website visitors know that high quality and affordable childcare was coming to the campus. They saw a cute picture of kids smiling and a short snippet of what it is that we offer within our childcare company. We had about 40 people immediately sign up to attend this event within the first 2 or 3 days after the advisory board sent out the notice with the link to the event page, which is great. But the key with the event page is to actually capture as much information as you can in order to now add those people who visited the website because an external source sent it to them. We now need to get them to join in and basically subscribe to our website or sign up to receive communications from us and become a part of our contact list. So in order to RSVP, that's exactly what they needed to do. Even if they don't show up to the event, it is so valuable to have their contact information because clearly they signed up because they have a child and might possibly need childcare. Most likely, most of them. We want to be able to reach them and we want to be able to understand their needs so that we can market to them in the future. So when they RSVP'd, we were not simply asking for their first and last name to add them to our guest list for a head count. No, we were asking them for their name, phone number, email address. We asked them to select an option for how they are affiliated with the university. We asked them to explain how often they need childcare. We asked them to select the age range that their child or children fall into. And we asked them to list how many additional guests they would be bringing. That last question about additional guests encourages them to invite their family and friends or bring their kids, which we were prepared for. But all of those details helps us to know which newsletters to send them, what future events to invite them to, and what potential spots they could fill in the future. Now, after setting up the RSVP page, I actually created the event flyer and we gave it to the university to distribute and post up or send out. This was actually a key component, and sometimes I even overlook the importance of a flyer nowadays since we have social media and websites and paid advertising, and it's a lot of video content information of why you need to sign up for something. A flyer is still important if you're spreading word of mouth about an event. You may not have a video link or someone's contact information to give them access to whatever video or digital content you made. You may need to hand them a physical flyer. The flyer needed to be attention grabbing, colorful, and include smiling children. You always have to include smiling children, but it also needed to have a easy way for the reader of the flyer to take action on whatever it is that you're advertising. So in this case, we needed the reader of the flyer to take action on RSVPing to join the event. So I slapped the QR code on there, which linked to the RSVP page on our website. Easy enough. I use PicMonkey.com to make our flyers and our graphic designs. I'm so curious to know what tools or softwares do you use in order to make flyers and event pages and things like that. So please leave it in the comments below. The next step of this planning process was to actually make sure that the daycare space was set up and appropriate to show to the families that were going to be visiting. Even though we had access to this space over the last couple of months, we really didn't do much work inside of it because we were going through inspections and the licensing process. Coincidentally, just like our other 3 locations, this space was a daycare previously. It actually had a different operator inside it for a couple decades before we got there. Thankfully, the university actually owned all of the furniture and equipment that was left inside of it, so we were able to repurpose and use it to meet our needs. All we really needed to do was purchase some more toys, equipment, and supplies and curriculum materials that we need to operate our program the way that we do it. So we quickly got to work doing those things in the weeks leading up to the open house event date. In the level 10 meetings leading up to the open house, we discussed what types of decorations, what types of giveaways, and how we wanted the event to run. We also set goals for how many on-the-spot registrations we were aiming to get. And whatever other sort of last-minute details were needed, we planned those out and discussed them leading up to the event. The day before, a few of us went to the center space to make sure that everything was in place in the classrooms and to make sure that we set up and decorated so that it would be a great experience for everyone walking through the doors. We set up table displays with our branding, some flyers and QR codes in acrylic stands, which linked to other events or web pages on our website to apply for jobs or to request registration. We rolled out our orange carpet, which is one of our brand colors, and we hung up canvas prints of children at our other locations so that families would get the feel of what it's like to have their child enrolled with us. Even though everything was already set up the day before the event, we still had our team of teachers and administrators show up a little bit early the morning of the event to make sure that we had some time to check everything and go through a rundown of exactly how the day was going to go. We had teachers stationed in one classroom ready to engage children and invite them to play while their parents were touring and meeting with the administrators. We used our relay radio devices to communicate with each other across the center space if needed. Our virtual assistant actually joined us in person so that she can sit outside of the center space to check in each and every guest before they step through the doors, and also make sure that if anyone did show up who was not RSVP'd, that we did collect their contact information, including their name, phone number, and email, to actually add them to our contact list before they walked through the doors. Our transportation manager played the role of greeting people as soon as they did enter the daycare space by saying hello to them, pointing them into the right direction of where they needed to go to meet with whoever they may need to meet with, depending on who they were. He also made sure to say goodbye to everyone as they were leaving. So it was one point of entry and exit from the daycare space. So as they were leaving, he would give them a stuffed panther that we customized and ordered about 100 of in order to use as giveaways, because it had our branding on it, and it also, a panther happens to be the university's mascot. So it was a cute way, I guess, of paying homage, if that's the right term, to the university, while also maintaining our branding and giving the kids something fun to go home with. Who doesn't love a stuffed animal, even as an adult? Mine is right there. So that was their little take-home gift. But also the transportation manager was giving them information on our upcoming future public events that they could go to at our other center locations. Our center directors and our parent coordinator were responsible for doing the walkthroughs of bringing parents from class to class, explaining what each room would be used for, and detailing our curriculum and how our program would operate, and answering the questions that the parents had. We had our bookkeeper who handles tuition billing stationed at the receptionist area so that the tours could end there and the bookkeeper could meet with the parents privately to discuss what their tuition rates were going to look like. At that point, she was encouraging registration as well. So it started off with a friendly greeting, touring around the whole center, seeing your kids play with our teachers, and it ended with let's now sit down, talk about the registration process and the rates, and go ahead and sign up. Personally, I got to meet so many professors, deans, and department heads of the university who gave great advice on how we can succeed in this space. It was honestly such a fun experience, and I am most happy with the fact that we were well prepared and well supported. We did end up getting about a dozen people who were immediately ready to move forward with the registration process, which is great because we're still a couple months away from actually opening and beginning to allow children to attend. So about a dozen for now is perfectly fine. We're going to begin operations in the summertime after the school year ends, which for us in New York State is going to be in July. I know a lot of programs in school districts get out in May down south in other parts of the country, but up north here, our school year ends at the end of June. So as we get closer to our opening date over the next 2 months, we're going to make sure to do more open house events, probably on a bit of a smaller scale, and do more private tours throughout the week or have the actual events on different days of the week. So this first one was on a Saturday morning, and we were given the great advice to do another open house during common hour during the week. Because it was on a Saturday, the campus was very slow. There was barely anybody there unless they were there for the purpose of coming to our open house, or maybe if a few people had classes. But aside from that, there was nothing happening. On a typical day in the middle of the week, the campus is full. So we're going to try to do it again at that time. As far as company-wide events, the next one coming up is actually our Mother's Day celebration, which is happening this week. It's only for the mother figures of the children currently attending our center. So moms, grandmas, aunties, whoever wants to come, really. We're not going to turn anybody away, but we're doing a muffins with mom type of event. So it's a closed event and it's not open to the public. On that same day, we're actually going to be hosting a staff-only teacher appreciation event at a local arcade. So if you're interested in hearing more about those types of closed, invite-only events, definitely leave a comment below and I'd be happy to share more, because those types of closed events definitely do help with your business and reputation as well. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. If you enjoyed it, please hit the like button. Don't forget to sign up for my free webinar on Thursday, May 16th, which is next week. The link is in the description, so scroll down there, click on it, sign up. But while you're down there, you might as well hit that red subscribe button and the notification bell so that you can be notified when I do post my next video, which will be real soon.